that everybody, that I find myself in. I must say that I come here bringing nothing else but experience, and that's it. And today's session will be more about experience sharing, just because I come from with all my human vanities and ignorance and ego, just like all of us do. So, by 30 years of training for me to change my perceptions, my views on how and who should be learning classical dance, how it should be taught, whether it should be given to the people who are on the periphery of being the perfect dancer. These are questions that I have grappled with for past 30 years and more. And I think I'm right now getting a feel of probably, that everything that we've learned all these years has not really encouraged us to think beyond the box. Am I saying that I have thought out of the box? No, I have been forced to think out of the box. So I'd like to introduce you to the miracle student, or the disciple who rather is my teacher. And she is the one who is responsible for allowing me to break out of the fixed notions that we carried. We have always learned we have five senses, and here we are with eight. And I also know that there is 12, right? So Rudolf Steiner says there are 12 senses. And it is not something that was in my area of work. What am I? I am a communications trainer and at best an Indian classical dancer. I never wanted to teach. I wanted to be a performer all my life, only having the limelight on me. Teaching happened to me. And I was not a very good teacher, let me tell you. Because obviously, as is wont with this segment, you have to teach because you want progeny in your art form. And so you take on the task of teaching with passing on all the ego that you've gathered over the years, and all the misconceptions, you pass it on to the next generation. It is at that time, so I started teaching exactly 35 years ago, and 2 years into my so-called dance class, I had this 7-year-old kid sitting in my living room one fine day with her parents. I come back from college in those days, and my mother, she quickly takes me inside and she says, they have been waiting for you, and they have brought their kid. She wants to enroll in your class. So do not say no. For an 18-year-old, mother is warning, with already setting the tone that you're not to refuse. They're sitting outside, so you go there, be a good girl, and just say yes to everything. And so a little forward back, I'll go back. So I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, and I had just finished my Arangetram, and I thought that I was the best dancer in all of India. So students will walk in, and they should feel happy that I'm teaching them. So this was the place that I came from. Here I was 18, getting shows all across the world, being written about in the newspapers, being adulated. So I really honestly didn't have time and space at that time to think about training somebody. But I had two very brilliant kids. They were meant to be dancers. And I think I used this place to say that I apologize to them for being such a bad teacher at that time to them. But anyways, cutting short, when I went out, I sat down, and the parents, they came from far away Sangvi area, which was at that time, even it was considered literally a village. Today it is considered as part of a town, Pune city, extension of Pune city, but then it was literally, a village. And here was this little child brightly smiling at me. And the mothers asked me, will you teach my my daughter to dance? And I said, why not? Let her come. I mean, these are my timings and these are my fees. So she's welcome to come. And I was just wanting to just go and send the kid whenever the class is. And then slowly she says, but तुम्हाला म्हणजे तुम्हाला माहिती असेल की नाही माहीत नाही, पण माझी मुलगी मूकबधीर आहे. I had no clue what मूकबधीर was. So I wisely nodded. I said, हाँ, she will learn, don't worry. सीख जाएगी वो. Because my understanding of Marathi was also very limited at that point. And honestly, such a request had never come before. So there was no question of knowing what Mukhabadhir means. Mukhabadhir, later on, I learned was being deaf and dumb, in today's parlance, hearing impaired. You know, you can call a rose by any other name, but you cannot disregard that the problems which are there is essentially you are deaf, hence you are dumb. Nobody is born dumb, but one cannot pick up the nuances of language when you cannot hear a single sound. So the ability to make sound disappears. But of course, I was, I was unaware of what I was getting into. And then she started coming to class. And the very first day when I asked her to stand and take the posture, she fell. In spite of repeated attempts at making her sit. So Bharatanatyam has this very unnatural posture. This. Yeah. It's absolutely anti-gravity. And anyone who has, put in even 10 minutes of trying to get the Aramandi correct will know it is absolutely torture. And that's exactly what would happen with us. I didn't remember learning Aramandi because I started very young learning the dance form. But I remember the torture we have all been put through to sit for 500 counts, 1000 counts, 1500. It never seemed to end. The day you mastered 500, 1000 would be the next task. So, and that was the way we learned. So that was the way I taught. Until this kid could not hold herself in that position. She would either jut her butt out or then her stomach out. And if I held her from both sides and made her sit, she would fall down and start giggling. Of course, it irritated me because there is a level of patience an 18-year-old, an egoistic 18-year-old can have. And she challenged me. And I was, for the first time in my life, I didn't know what to do with it. And so I think not knowing was the thing which really egged me. And I was like, how can she not do it? I will make sure she does it. It was more of a vindictive thing rather than, really trying to understand it from her point of view. Because as I said, we all grow, we all evolve. We are a constant evolution happening. And so then, that first day in class, after she went, I was like, I heaved a sigh of relief. And I told my mom, there's no way she's going to learn. What have you got me into? My mother, a psychology major, of course, Mother India, she sat me down and she said, look, everybody is made differently. I said, okay, now, lecture out. I'm not here. I'm not a psychology major, nor am I a neuroscience major. So why are you asking me to, learn? And that one thing that my mother said was like, lamba race ka ghoda hona hai, so you have to start opening up your eyes and ears and open up your mind thereby. The impact of that statement is very huge. Of course, that day it irritated me. But today, as a mom of a teenager myself, I understand that moms are wise, right? They are not stupid. And I said, okay, theek hai, I have risen to challenges in the past. Let me see how difficult will it be. And thus started. But somewhere I was waiting for her to give up, for the child to give up, okay. So I would just sideline her in class, give her something simple to do, move her hands probably, just movement here, there, in vacuum, in space. But here I had a lambi race ka ghoda who had come. So she would sit down, she was 7, mind you, she was 7. She would sit down and observe the other girls in class. And I would just let her be. I was like, she will get bored someday and not turn up for class. Here I had a father, come rain, come shine, come summer, festival, whatever. Other girls will call me, Didi, today I have extra class. Didi, today na I'm not feeling well. Didi, my father is not there, nobody to bring me. And they would stay across the street. But this child would turn up in the middle of like cloudbursts. Here she was, in her tiny little raincoat, she would be standing there smiling at me. And that sight would irritate me. I was like, does nothing stop you from coming? Can you not find it? In fact, so many times I've been rude to the mother and I've said, can't you find someone else? And they would be like, Dai, thoda sa sabar kara, thoda sa, just have a little patience with her, please, she loves dancing, she loves coming to you. I said, how does she love coming to me when I yell at her so much? So yelling also, I realized that no matter how much I yelled at her, she would look at me, and then after some time, after I'm spent, like done with all the outbursts, she would come and ask me, Ragolis? So the innocence of that child, I think it just shook something in me. And I started questioning my own sense of, or my own inability at teaching her. Then came that day when the senior girls, the so-called senior girls who were 2 years ahead of her, I had taught them a complex adavu. And they were not getting it for 3 days in a row. And I had spent literally the entire 1 hour in making them understand each nuance of that adavu. They had got it, and then I had told them, practice it at home and come back. So the next day when they came back for class, there they were, again, forgotten everything. And I snapped. And this girl goes, she starts laughing. Yeah? And then she's telling me, so bad they're doing. Very bad. Oh, criticism. I mean, that girl can criticize. And how? She said, very bad. And I got really angry. I got so angry. I said, Acha, why don't you do it and show then? So she goes, okay. She comes in front and she does it with utmost precision. I have not taught it to her. It is 2 years up her scale. She has no sound going into her ear. She doesn't understand, but the rhythm didn't move an inch. An inch. I think that was my turning point. I was like, here I am, putting all obstacles her way, not making, not giving her even a pie of the fees that she's, giving me. And what is this? She surprised me that day, and that was the day I called her mother and I told her, I'm sorry, but I will teach her. Now I will teach her. And this was a good 6 or 7 months after she enrolled. So I started teaching her. And of course, very, very tough, because again, I had no precedence, no understanding of what do I do? How do I break this tangent? So many years later, at one point, I had a very insensitive remark made by a certain examiner, a dance guru who is very well known, and and she said, आमच्या मुलांना ऐकू येत नाही हे काय त्यांचं पाप आहे का? Why does she need to perform dance? Or why does she need to dance? Because I was audacious enough to dream that she will clear the Gandharva exams, and I had made her appear for the first year exam. So they refused to even let me fill her form. Her mom had to face a lot of obstacles. She stuck it. She said, nothing doing. Didi is saying that she can give her first year. I will make sure she gives her first year. So that is when, we did this. And I was working in the corporate segment, and, even people at work, there were some senior leaders in the industry who said, that's no big deal. I mean, come on. So many dancers dance abroad. I mean, have you been to US? They have a full ballet by deaf dancers. They are doing ballet. So I said, yeah, good for them. I mean, I have nothing against them, but if this girl wants to learn Bharatanatyam, and I gave the choice. I told her, you can learn something else. Don't come for Bharatanatyam. And she said, no, I want to wear this dress. I want to learn from you only. So I told these leaders, I said, let me have one session with you, please. So I would like to do that session with all of you all today, for you to understand the enormity of the task that she has gone through. Not me, but her, right? Can we have the lights on, please, now? So I'm passing on, and rather Kohinoor is helping me. Thank you so much, Kohinoor, for arranging this. We are giving you cotton pods. You can just put them in your ear, so you block all sound, right? So this is Prerana. Let me introduce you. Yeah, just pass it on, I think. Can you just take your plugs out? Pass it. ते देतील सगळ्यांना कानात घालायला. So before you put the pods, please remove it. What we are going to do is we're going to put the thing in your ear, and then 1, 2, 3, clap at 4, okay? All of you are going to clap at 4, but you're obviously not going to get cues from me. So first put in this. Before you put in, let us clap together. Please remove it. And now let's just clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, now the earpods, please.
Does everyone have enough cotton? Yeah.
Start. All right. Can we remove it? So I don't know if anyone was observing it, then you all would have known. So when we did, let's do 1, 2, 3. On the dot, everybody is clapping at 4. So there is a sense of, the rhythm sense comes out perfect. Because, yeah, you're getting my cue. The minute I leave it to you all, when you don't have any cue coming in, especially the auditory cue, you are clapping at your own sense of timing, what we call as rhythm, correct? Rhythm is very, very individual. It is the tabla or the percussion which actually gets all of us together, bound together in one common lay or rhythm, right? If I say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So this change or interplay of rhythm is possible because you're hearing me. You're hearing me count. Now, when I asked you all to close your ears, all of you all were doing it from your perception, right? That perception also comes because at some point you have understood 1, 2, 3, 4. The instructions you have heard initially. But then when you're doing it from perception, somebody slowing down, she looked at the other person, which is, right? You're not having any audial stimulation. So you're looking for the next best cue, which is visual. So if had I given you even these visual signals, you would have still clapped at the right time. So please meet Prerana. Prerana Sahane has 100% profound loss of hearing. She was born Priyanka, and at 6 months of age, she had a paralytic attack as a child. She lost the control of her limbs, and of course, at that time, the parents did not realize her auditory loss because she was a small child. So they worked on her paralysis, and of course, a lot of oils and massage and physiotherapy worked on that. So she regained control of her limbs, but it was only when she was 2 years of age that the parents stumbled upon the reason that paralysis led to the auditory center of her brain being completely damaged, leaving her with profound hearing loss. For the parents, it was like something they had never heard of. They had never even encountered so-called deaf children. They were ostracized by society. Also, some claiming that it was a curse for them having a love marriage, blah, blah, the way the society was or is also, I can say. Anyways, I think kudos to the parents who at one point decided to end their lives because they had no way of knowing how to raise a hearing-impaired child. They were close to committing suicide and also prepared that, okay, on this day, we are going to end our lives because we cannot bring up our child in this society. And it was only Helen Keller's story which somewhere, inspired the mother. I will introduce you to her mother as well in a while from now, who decided that, this is a defeatist way of living, and let us, give a life to her. So Priyanka was renamed as Prerana, as an inspiration to them for living their lives. And believe me, 30 years of association with them, I can tell you, such parents should be there for every one of us because they decided not to have another issue. They have completely given their life to creating Prerana. When she was about 4 or 5, was when the thought came into her head that she sways to music. She sees something on TV and she sways perfectly with the movement going on there. So that's when her search for a dance teacher started. They faced a lot of rejection, and I just shared the story of how she happened to me. Yeah, I was fooled into accepting her as my student, and am I glad. 30 years. Today, Prerana stands as a national awardee. She is a full-time professional Bharatanatyam dancer. And no credit for me, honestly. It's all her work. Yes, we have worked as a team, her parents, me, and her. I have learned in the process that the auditory sense, which we take for granted, right, is not the only thing. A lack of it should not stop you from achieving whatever it is that your heart desires. What is your form of expression that you would want to do? She may not have the gift of hearing and speech, but she's the most verbose person in our team. She fights with me on WhatsApp, believe me. She fights with me on WhatsApp. She will, if I'm teaching something, I forget what I have taught her. So I will teach somebody something, she will come and tell me, what is this? You're teaching her wrong. She will correct me. She's a teacher at my institute where she teaches young children. And believe me, children don't have a problem learning from her. It is the adults who will have a problem. So she manages to, move around in life. She rides her own bike. She comes to class. She takes a bus. She takes the metro. She's looking forward to take the metro as soon as it's ready. She's a mother to a 6-year-old now. And she's doing all her duties, everything. And she has an identity for herself. That is, she says, I am me nrutyangana hai. Me ek nrutyangana hai. Now, that is something which I feel validates, everything that we've done and fills me with a sense of great achievement that She believes that she's a good dancer. She reminds me of what I was at her age, where I thought that I was the best dancer in India, at least. So what worked? Thank you. So what worked? A lot of times people ask me, media, that तुम्ही कशा शिकवलं तिला? I will say some gurus have even asked me, कसं शिकवायचं? And that's a great sign, because at least people are willing to listen. की ठीक है. I did not do anything intentionally. It sort of kept revealing itself to me along the way. As you said, 30 years. But I'm sure nobody else should wait for 30 years for it to dawn on them. Things that have worked, mainly when the auditory senses are affected, the visual sense really becomes very sharp. She had a very good sense of visual. So it's very important that she has me to guide her. So yes, that is a limitation, yes, because we are a team forever, for life. Her mother has also, wherever I could not be there, of course her mother has not learned dance, but she can at least guide her with the changeover. She is digitally pretty empowered. So she has done a few small, close, intimate programs with the laptop in front of her. I have always worried about that in my absence, what will happen? So there are different ways, but yes, nothing has yet been as strong as probably the human connection between us. The other problem, which while teaching her, was that of the vestibular sense, of course. So then, how did I work around that? Practice, practice, practice. Everybody can develop a sense of balance with practice, of course, keeping in mind the limitations. I'll give you an example of Virat Kohli. If you all have seen Virat Kohli in his earlier years, his chubby years, right? You look at his body movements vis-a-vis the Virat Kohli today, who is considered the king of fitness. If it was only fitness, I don't think such a difference was made. It is the physiologists, the kinetic experts who work on that sense of balance, on developing the sense of your vestibular sense to that extent. And of course, choreographically, I will have to make changes, because when she turns, there is nothing. So removing long turns from the choreography, balance is like one leg balance, If try it standing on ekapada and shut your eyes. You will not be able to do it. Yoga, that is the main thing. To get you to meditate while you're in the ekapadasana, it's very difficult, because that is where you are training to get over the sensory dependencies. And for her, ekapada is nearly impossible. Even, sitting in mandi, like we sit directly like this, so the sense of balance keeps going. So how did I work around these challenges? One thing, keeping a little extra space between the legs gives you a little more balance, which I encounter even with my senior batch, which is above 40. We have a special batch for women above 40, which is a knee and back friendly batch, right? But also, the sense of balance is very poor after 40. It is not probably poor in people who have, like me, who have been doing it from childhood, because it's, again, practice which has prepared, right? So this is the way you can. So I will wrap up. Give me just 2 minutes. I will wrap up. So these are the ways. Now, how did I make her understand the beats? First of all, her sense of rhythm is heightened. So this is God gift, right? A person comes with certain gift. All of us have that one USP about our own self, and that is hers. Her sense of rhythm is just on point. So much so that we have offbeat, usi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Normally, there are so many children who are challenged with offbeat. So I have to change it to on beat. For her, she catches off beat like this. I just have to show her this, and she does off beat. So I just show her the difference between on and off, and she gets it. So her sense of rhythm is heightened. That is there. What we have tried to do is also I have given her ghungroos, which the sound she doesn't get, but she gets the vibrations in her leg. So with ghungroos, banging that, she gets the exact movement. And of course, she has me sitting in front, guiding her with the motions. So yes, of course, I have lots to say on it. I can keep going on, but we have a shortage of time, and I respect that. I'd like to throw it open to the floor if any of you all have questions. But more importantly, on 25th, which is on Saturday, Prerana will be performing for you all here. I think 1 o'clock, 1 or 1:15, and again at 4 o'clock. So she will be presenting 15 minutes of Bharatanatyam. So do come over to watch whether she really, walks the talk. So thank you very much, and thank you very much, Madhura, Kohinoor, all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very insightful. And my aunt is actually hearing impaired.
Oh.
And she loves dancing. We dance together many times. And as a Bharatanatyam dancer, I also know, I wouldn't call it the limitations, but the pedagogy that's been developed today isn't as accessible. But what you shared today has really opened my eyes as well. And I really wish my aunt had that growing up as well. But I would like to open it up to the floor for maybe 1 or 2 questions before we move on.
Yeah.
I think I do have a question, but
Sorry, we have the light so that I can also see them? Light, please. Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I think for many years I've heard about your work.
Oh, really?
But,
Thank you so much.
This is the first time I'm seeing it at a hand's distance. So thank you so much for bringing your work and doing what you're doing.
Yeah, please do come on 25th to watch her. Yeah.
I just want to say it's really inspiring to
Thank
see
you so
just
much.
the different ways of approaching something that's traditionally so rooted in its various strict ways.
It is.
So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else?
I actually had a follow-up question quickly,
Yeah,
just
sure.
because Akshita also mentioned it.
Yeah.
In a dance style like Bharatanatyam, which we talk about,
Yeah.
Natya Shastra, its tradition, and we really kind of worship these old texts and scriptures. Is there any flexibility in that pedagogy for?
Okay, so there is no clear pedagogy written in any of the texts, right? It is given. There are a lot of stotras which are giving, okay, how the stage should be set up, how the sabhapati should be, how the dancer should be. There is a shlok also which says the ideal dancer. Yeah, which is very racist, if you ask me. Yeah, it's extremely racist. But let us not blame the text, because the text was written and Lord Shiva performed it. He taught it to his ganas, for God's sake. I mean, if ganas can be perfect dancers, what leaves us for it? So it is open to interpretation, and I think each milieu or each generation, we have to interpret it to the times that we are living in. And if we are going to keep everyone at the periphery and live in ivory towers ourselves, lock ourselves there and say, okay, nobody can touch us, but then expect everyone to come and buy tickets and come and watch us. It's like cookery show, no? I mean, mothers cook better, but they will not be able to tell you, okay, put a pinch of salt or put 2 teaspoons of this. Cookery books don't make a cook. Similarly, no scripture or nothing written in the text is like the be-all and end-all. It is up to how we want to perceive it and how we want to change it.
That's a refreshing perspective.
Thank
you
you.
so much. It's very inspiring.
Thank you so much.